So I just watched Supergirl 2026, and honestly, I walked out with mixed feelings. Because this movie is not a disaster, but it's also not the big DC comeback people were hoping for. It sits right in that middle zone, where nothing is terrible, but nothing fully hits either. And that kind of sums up the whole experience. Let's start with the story. The movie follows Kara, Supergirl, right after the destruction of Krypton. She's trying to figure out who she is and where she belongs in the universe, but here's the difference between her and Superman. Superman lands on Earth and connects with it. He finds hope. Kara doesn't. She feels lost, detached, almost like she's just drifting through the universe without a real home. And honestly, that emotional angle is where the movie almost becomes really interesting. Now, the strongest part of this film is very clear. Supergirl herself. Across the entire movie, she's the one thing that actually works consistently. Her performance brings energy, emotion, and attitude. When she's on screen, you feel it. In action scenes, she looks powerful. In quieter moments, she feels human and vulnerable, and that balance is what keeps the movie alive. If this film works for you at all, it's because of her. But now we hit the uneven part. The visuals. Some sequences are genuinely great, especially anything in space or neon-lit environments. Those scenes actually feel like a proper sci-fi DC universe. Flying scenes? Easily the highlight. Those moments look smooth and cinematic, but then you get to the hand-to-hand combat, and it becomes inconsistent. Some fights feel sharp and clean, others feel confusing, almost rushed. So visually, it's a mixed bag. Now, the story itself is where things start to slip. The idea is simple, a kind of revenge-driven space journey where Supergirl meets different characters and faces new threats. And simplicity is not the problem. The problem is, the movie doesn't stay focused. It introduces interesting themes, identity, responsibility, and even the Superman versus Supergirl ideology. But it never really goes deep enough into any of them. It just touches the surface and moves on. That's also why the pacing feels off, especially in the middle. The film slows down, shifts attention away from Kara, and starts juggling too many elements at once. And that's where you feel the movie losing its grip a bit. Now, let's talk about the supporting characters. Superman does appear and he has presence, no doubt about that. And then there's Lobo, played by Jason Momoa. And honestly, he's fun, he brings energy, chaos, and personality to the screen. But here's the issue. Both Superman and Lobo sometimes pull attention away from Supergirl. Lobo especially feels like a bonus character rather than something the story truly needed. And Superman's involvement, while cool, occasionally overshadows the main character. A lot of viewers might feel the same. This should have stayed more centered on Kara, but the movie does recover in the final act. The pacing tightens. The emotional weight comes back. And the action feels more controlled. There are even some creative choices in music and perspective that won't work for everyone, but they do make the ending more memorable. And honestly, the final act is probably where the movie performs its best. So what's the final verdict? Supergirl 2026 is a middle-of-the-road DC movie. Not bad, not amazing, just inconsistent. What works? Supergirl's performance carries the film, strong space and flying visuals. A solid final act, Lobo is entertaining, and the DC Universe setup has potential. What doesn't? Uneven pacing in the middle. Too many distractions from the main character. Inconsistent action scenes and underdeveloped ideas. Final thought, if you go in expecting a tight, focused Supergirl story, you might come out disappointed. But if you're okay with a slightly messy, space-style DC adventure, there's still something enjoyable here. Because one thing almost every viewer will agree on is this: Supergirl herself is the reason this movie works at all.